Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's a little bit of a long one, so hopefully you guys can stick around for the end. We're going to be taking a stroll in the tunnel, and right here we're up on the hill. We haven't been up here yet, so you guys haven't seen the building behind us, but the Redstone bridge over there, that we're going to be taking a walk on, and then we're going to be taking a trip down in the tunnel. You can see the castle. We still don't have the roof on it yet. It's just not something that we've prioritized yet. We got that little building over there. But we're going to be taking a little walk inside. It's nothing crazy inside here, but just to kind of show you guys exactly what's going on. We're going to open up the gate since we don't have doors. And in here, this is where we did breed some villagers. It's very boxy. It was supposed to be a few multi-levels and we were going to have them breeding on all the levels, but it wasn't as efficient as we wanted it to be. As you go out this door, you can kind of see that's the rail that we transported them all to. And we put them in the castle that way, but we realized that we needed to be a little bit closer to a village. So what we did is we kind of took them out of here, and right now it's just an open building and there's not a whole lot going on. We do have windows in it, and that's something that we don't have in the castle over there. So maybe that's something that we should be putting in sooner or later. But we're just kind of walk around here and just kind of show off a little bit. But we do have carrots. The ladder, that was supposed to be to the second floor. That we never built because, again, it wasn't as efficient as we wanted it to be. Even though we had all of these carrots here, the villagers just don't breed unless you're close to the villages. So it's just something that we just had to relocate. This floor up here, this was full of beds, and that's how you breed the villagers. They just sleep and sleep and sleep. So, it's totally fine. We use the beds in the other villager farm, so there's nothing too crazy there. And we're going to look over here into the chest to see what we have because we haven't been in here in a while. It's really nothing. We have a minecart, 21 carrots, and 6 iron. So not a whole lot going on in here anymore, honestly. So we'll come back to it one day. Maybe we'll turn it into something else that, I don't know. But for now, we're going to go back down the hill and we're going to take a trip on the Redstone bridge because this will be the last time that we're going to be walking on it. It will be gone in the next video, or the next time you guys see this area. This all will be gone, and we're not going to have to worry about it anymore. We're going to take all the redstone, we're going to put it in the main storage, and we're going to forget about it, basically. So we're going to run, and I realized at nighttime, this probably wasn't the best time to be doing this. There's a lot of mobs that spawn on this, even with the snow around. Some spots don't have snow on them, so the mobs do spawn. It's not the biggest deal, but just to kind of give us an idea of how much we're going to have to do, we're either going to have to mine right below the bridge or use our shovel to take out the snow and then collect some snow for whatever we might need it for. I know we are surrounded by snow, so it might not be the smartest thing. We might just drop it and leave it because it'll take up extra space that if we ever really do need snow, we'll just go next door and mine some of the ice caps, and then it'll snow again and we'll have unlimited snow. But as we're getting to the end of it, it's only 2 wide here. So that's really not a big deal to be mining. It's not a big deal to have to take. At least it's not 6 wide all the way down. And we do have, we don't really sleep as much as we should. So we do have phantoms above us. And right now, I think we only have 2 of them, if I can remember correctly. But there were 4 or 5, and that did knock us in the water. So, we do have a little XP orbs over here from a few of the skeletons that we had to kill in the past. And we're just looking up to see exactly what we're up against here. And it is the phantoms. So we just hit them like that, and they do end up dying up there from the fire, and they'll drop the, the tears or the phantom membranes, I believe it is. So we have a few of them collected, but we're going to get over here and we're going to hide under the bridge for a second and really figure out what we're going to do with the phantoms. We didn't bring a bed. A lot of times when we adventure, we'll just bring a bed and maybe dig a hole or put the bed down to sleep so we can skip the night, but that's not something that we thought of as we were running out here, because I guess we just didn't realize how close to night it actually was. So we'll hit this guy right here, get him out of the way. And they obviously don't really do much damage to us. just because we do have the netherite armor on, so they pretty much die with that one hit. And we're checking to see how much night we have left. Yeah, nice swing there. But we're going to hide underneath the redstone for now, and we're going to start mining it up. And this is how we're going to have to start this way. We're going to take it from the bottom. That way the phantoms have a harder time of hitting us. And the snow is such a pain on these. Like, I wish we weren't in the snow biome. I know I say it all the time, but it's just such a pain to have to deal with the snow and the snow falling. And, you know, when we made this world, we didn't really anticipate expanding so much. We kind of just thought we'd dig straight down. But, you know, as we got here, it just felt like it was just too enclosed, and it would be better to make sure that we expanded and, you know, got to see a different area. And that way we get more resources. And, you know, the phantoms are still doing whatever. And this is probably the worst part, is how they all go in the water. And they do eventually float up. So we might end up just mining a bunch, waiting for them to float up to the top, and then swim around like this and gather them up and rinse and repeat. So it won't be horrible to do this, but it will be tedious. And I think that's just, I mean, it's a bridge over water. So, I mean, what do you expect? But here we are back in the base. So as you can see, we're going to be doing revamps around here as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to head down the stairs. And just to kind of show you where the tunnel starts within this mine, this was one of the other videos. We ended up redoing all this. And I think that's what we're going to do every level. As you'll see we go down, there'll be a section like this all boxed in. And we're going to take one more look at all these little levels just to see how much we did mine. And like I said, this will all be boxed in, and I think that'll look really cool. That way when you go down the stairs, each level has its own kind of color scheme, or each level has its own theme to it based on the level. So I'd like to mix in a little bit of the deep slate into these, but we'll see as we get into that. I got a nice bed there. So we're down at -40. We mined a good amount at a -40, and deep slate just takes so long to mine. It just takes us a little bit. So this is -50, and we started mining that way a little bit to make another rail. But the one that we are going to be using after we eat up here and get some energy is right here. So it goes this way, and over here we haven't mined any. So -50 is probably the one we haven't mined like an area out. We've just mined tunnels. So we're going to hop on the minecart and head right down, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit. That way it doesn't take us forever, but you can see the position on the left. You can see the blocks moving down, and it's pretty far in the first stretch here. Now I am going to slow it down a little bit. You can kind of check out the different things that we see along the way. And, you know, like this area is all opened up, and there's something that we can do in each of these areas. As we build the tunnel, this is where we're going to put the redstone. We're going to put the redstone on the sides and maybe the ceiling a little bit. I don't intend on enclosing all of this with redstone, but it's definitely going to have a lot of redstone in it. And that was the whole idea with the bridge, is to have a redstone connecting area. And that's what we're going to do down here. And it's a lot of space. Get a little amethyst in here, and then we're going to speed it back up and get out of here. And the first section is coming up. And, you know, there's just so much space that we have in Minecraft. And that's what I love about playing this. Like, you see this spot. I haven't lit it all up. I just kind of made the tunnel and made the bridge across it. And, you know, it'll be kind of interesting how that all plays in with how we get the redstone to go. But, you know, we're just going to keep going. And this is the first area. You know, there is a break in it. And we do have nether portals in each one of these breaks. So I'm not going to go in the nether portal today, but another day we will. So we just came, and we have stairs. We actually don't have stairs, but we just mined up. We definitely do have to add stairs because that'll make everything a lot better. And inside these chests, we don't have a lot because, again, we didn't really mine around these areas. We just mined through the areas. So what we have here in each of the chests is completely random. So nothing in the furnaces. But what we are going to do is we are going to head up, and we're just going to check out the surface to see what's up there. So we'll speed it up a little bit because it is a lot of jumping up there. And the idea is in each one of these sections, is to have some type of build. And as you can see, we kind of branched off a little bit here, and there's a few other breakaways that we haven't lit up yet. So you can see in here, there's definitely a cave down there. And just to kind of think of the different types of things that we can build in these areas. And like I said, once we get up to the surface, you'll be able to see exactly what's over here. And we do have another breakaway spot over here. So we're going to check it out for just a second and light it up. You can kind of see the blocks are kind of different. So it's only one space in there. I haven't really seen that too often, but eventually we'll get over here and, we'll mine this out, and we'll kind of get to see what we have plans, or we'll make plans for there. And, I'm pretty excited about it. You can see some grass over here with some dirt. So there's a ton of different things that we can build, and there's just that's the one thing about Minecraft. It's limitless. You can do whatever you want, and there's so many different things that you can build. So we're just about at the top, and on some of these places, I ended up mining into water. So as you'll see, we come out of the water, which honestly will be kind of a cool entrance into whatever castle or whatever building that we do build. We did build a little bit of a structure so that if we ever did adventure over here, we would be able to find this area again. Because that's one thing that I struggle with, is finding my way home. So over here, you can kind of see, this is kind of sweet. You got the waterfalls, you got kind of an overhanging ledge here. There's definitely a lot of different things that we can build here. So we're going to find a way to get out without mining a bunch of stuff and without kind of doing too much damage to the land until we're ready to build around here. And as you can see, the one thing is no snow. So that's awesome. It's not going to be snowy over here. The entrance will be down there. And you can kind of see up here, look at this little pond here. It's like a little overhang, and then the waterfall goes into kind of the cave down there. And there's plenty of grass, something that we really don't see much of where we are. And a little island over there. Got some nice birch and oak trees. So this is going to be a good place to kind of, mine out. And it's pretty big down there. These waterfalls look awesome. The different layers, and if we replace these blocks, and I'm pretty excited to get out here and, start building, but it won't be for a little bit. I do want to get up top there and check it out so we can kind of see what type of build is up there, or what type of place that we can start building. And we're going to run around here, run around the back, and try to get up there the best we can. And as we look around, it looks like a great open area. Look at this. There's plenty of space to build. There's plenty of water, cool waterfalls, a little island. I got some pumpkins over here. And let's go see what's on this side over here. Got a couple cows chilling up here. On this side, it's a nice little, not a river, but, you got some water over here, nice flat areas to build. We could definitely build something over there. And as we get around this side, it's pretty much the same thing. You got some water. Looks like a pumpkin. Is that a 5 or an S? I'm not sure. But it is over there. And on this left side, it looks like there's plenty of room to build maybe a little village that kind of connects on the end of the forest. And that'll be a cool little spot. I'm assuming, when we do get out here, we'll probably clear cut most of this wood. You can see some bees down there. So that's something we don't have either. We don't have any honey. We have no honeycomb. So maybe we'll be able to harvest some of that. But I'm really liking this first area that we have here. Like I said, we haven't been here in maybe 2 to 3 years. So everything you guys are seeing, I'm kind of remembering for the first time. And it all starts right there. And it's kind of cool how it's in a hole. But we are going to start back in, and we're going to go to the next section. We ran back down the stairs, and it just keeps going this way and this way. And we're going to speed it up again so that we don't have to watch 30 minutes worth of just the minecart. And another idea that I had was to put possibly ice on the floor, packed ice on the floor, because by the castle, if you can picture it, by the sugarcane, we do have an ice bridge over there, and we use the boat to get to our old villager farm, and that was probably 10 times faster. It was probably about this fast with ×4 speed on, so that's something that we might relook at. We might have ice on the bottom, and then we'll get back to it as we're running to the next one. But we did end up getting to the next spot. Per usual, we have our nether portal, and we're going to take a look at the chest behind us because why not? So let's open it up, and we have some gold boots, 2 minecarts, and some redstone dust. Obviously some flint and a little bit of coal there. The bucket. We used to mine with a water bucket. It's nothing that we do now because we don't really run into much lava, but we're going to go to the top to see what's up here. And just like all the others. And as you can see, it does look like we have a mine shaft here. And I totally forgot that we had it. We blocked it off a little bit just in case there was any spiders running around. And as you can see, we haven't explored it at all. It's all still pitch black. It's not something that we've done. So, it's something that we can definitely do in another video is maybe check out the mine shaft. And maybe this area is called the mine shaft mine. So we will be mining in all of these areas just like we did in the beginning. So who knows, maybe it'll all be connected by the mines. And as we get to the top, it's not water, so that's awesome. But it is nighttime, and we didn't bring a bed, as we know. So there is going to be some mobs spawning, getting in the middle of all of this. But it is kind of cool that it's a birch forest. I definitely like the white birch for building. It is pretty nice. I think the textures look pretty cool, and there's plenty of wood here. That is something that we have run into issues because we do live on an island. And as you can see, there's plenty of wood here. So maybe one day we'll just come and collect all the wood. Maybe bring a minecart with a chest on it and transport some of it over. As you can see, we still have the phantoms after us because we haven't slept. And this is just something that's just going to be a nuisance this whole time. But it's not a big deal. We'll just try to avoid them the best we can. And as you look around, it's literally just a big birch forest in all the ways. So the land, we got a little bit of a hill here. So, we could always put a castle on top of it. Maybe we could get a little more detailed in our castle this time and try to make it not so boxy. I think that's one of the biggest things that we ran into with this last spot is just the boxiness of our castle. And it's just not something that we wanted to maybe revisit and revamp everything. I think we're going to leave it. And in all these other areas that we get to with this minecart right now is what we'll kind of make improvements on and do different things on. And, right here, I didn't almost die, but the zombie wasn't really the issue. It was the phantom, and I knew it was probably going to bump me off, but I wanted to see it. And we ended up falling down. So we're going to jump down, basically, land on some granite. And then, this area is pretty cool, though. So we got a lot of water kind of in here. And then, it just keeps going down and down and down. And there is a lot of clay around here. So that's something that's kind of cool. We don't have a lot of clay in our area. We just haven't really found much. So we do have those glowberries there and a little creeper hiding back here. But, we're just checking this area out just to plan. So as we're working in our current builds, we'll be thinking about these areas and be thinking about the blocks that we collect and what we can do. And I'd really love to kind of replace all of these blocks and have it not be stone, but have it be something else. I haven't really put my finger on it. I'd like to play around with the stone cutter a little bit. That's just something that we haven't dabbled with much. So I think we're going to play with the stone. But if we take a look over here, there's a lot of glowberries, and these things are pretty sweet in this area. So we definitely can gather some of those and maybe even use them in our current base, or maybe we'll keep it in this specific base. And, that's all clay right here. So that's pretty cool. At least it's not snow. I'll take clay over snow any day. So as we're looking around, there's a lot of grass blocks per se. And, there's a lot of things that we can do down here. We can make more mines, obviously. And we can make storage, we can make different cities, but we are on top of the hill. We ran back up there, and just to take one final look, I'm really liking all the birch. On this side over here, you can see the mushrooms, so that's kind of cool. We got a few mushrooms in there, and We don't really have too many mushrooms right now. Not that we really use them, or not that they're really useful to us right now. There's not really anything that we've made with them. So we're going to get back. It's right over there. We're just going to run right over there and get back down. And there's one more area, I think. One or two more areas. I'm actually forgetting at this point. So let's go back to the minecart down below, and we'll be going to our next little spot. And this one was pretty sweet. I definitely like the first one better. I think it had a better aesthetic all around. And I guess we'll just take one more look on this side just to kind of see. There is some flat plains right over there. So maybe that's a place that we revisit. We're not going to walk over there now. You can already see that it's flat, but it might be a good spot for another village. I think making a castle and village in each one of these areas will be really cool. I think that'll kind of, maybe each one of them will be just a little bit different. We got the first one that we have now out of stone. Maybe the next one will be made out of granite, and the next one diorite, and so on and so forth. And we'll just see what happens. But we're going to get back down here, and we're going to throw the minecart down and head that way. And we do actually, now that I think about it, there is actually 2 more sections. So we'll get ripping on this, and we'll just see what else we got. And from here, we will talk a little bit more about the floor. So we talked about packed ice. There's plenty of packed ice around our base now. So I think we'll need maybe 3 to 4 double chests worth of ice to completely fill the 2 rows. And I'm not really sure if I want to make it 2 wide or 3 wide, or what we're going to do. But there's another amethyst little section there. So we might end up mining that out because we will need it for our amethyst storage spot. We do have to still make the tunnel. And we did get to our 3rd little spot here, and we have our little portal that maybe we'll hop in the portals next time and we can kind of see what they are. But no promises, because again, the nether is not my favorite place. And as you can see, we do have stairs over here. So at some point, we figured that it would be better to put stairs on the last couple spots. Nothing really in the chest. We got a couple name tags here. Probably should have took them, but we don't really need them right now. So we'll come back if we ever do. So we're going to check the furnaces, and we have 11 gold nuggets. Ignates, something. I forget the name. I'm not going to say them anymore. I'm going to call them gold bars because I keep mispronouncing them. But we're going to go up the stairs a little bit. And this one's actually really cool. So you can kind of see the lava, and a lot of the stone or deep slate is in pillars. And the lava kind of doesn't really mix with the water. So we're going to be careful as we build over here. We don't have any of it lit up, like I said. So there are mobs spawning everywhere, and they can't get us where we are. So we're fine here. But there's a couple lava pools that are dripping down, and you can kind of see the road. But we're going to head back up. And we did end up mining a little bit there, but we're not going to really visit it because it's nothing too crazy. And this is the 3rd spot. It looks a little swampy. So it looks like we got a swamp. And as we move to this side, it looks like this is the end of it. So there's a little bit of sand on this side, and oh great, the sun's going down again, and it's going to be dark next time we come up, but that's totally fine. So we're going to head this way to go check it out. It doesn't seem like there's much going on. Again, the trees, once we clear out the trees, we can really see how the land is and maybe terraform it a little bit to get a different feel. But we're going to eat a little bit right before night, just in case anything crazy happens. And we can see a little mushroom over here. Yep, we got a couple mushrooms over here. And, you know, it's nothing that really speaks too loud. Yep, that's where we are. And we'll just run this way a little bit just to kind of see if there's anything else on this side that would make us want to build here first. But as we get up here, it's almost like we're on an island, and there's another island maybe over there. So this spot might be very similar to where we are now, where it's just small land mass with trees around. So, you know, we'll revisit it a little bit later, but I don't think there's really much more to see. And it is nighttime, so the phantoms, you can kind of see them hitting us. So we're going to get back down in our little hole, and we're going to go check out the next spot. And we're going to drive through the little caves, and I think it's going to be pretty sweet. I'm not sure how packed ice will be. You guys will see. Look at this little frog. Nope, he just jumped away. But, so let's get back down on our staircase, head back down, and we'll get to the last and final spot. And we'll just, revisit everything, and it's going to be sweet. I'm really excited to get this all built. So let's get a little minecart down, hop in, and I'll show you what I'm saying when I say the packed ice, because as you'll see, this area is really big. And there's a lot of pillars around, so that's cool. But areas like this, where we're driving through the tunnel next to the lava's below us, I'm not sure how close ice has to be to melt. So it might only be a couple blocks, so we might be fine with that. But we might have to raise it up as well. It's just something that we'll have to do a little bit of research on. Not too into exactly every block and how every block reacts with others. So there's a lot of learning I still have to do with Minecraft, and hopefully you guys can kind of follow along with that too. And this section right here, as we're going up, is the only section that we went up with. But down below, right below us, is all water. So there's some type of water source, huge water section in there. When we do build the actual floor and the ice and whatever, we will end up going straight through the water. So it'll be kind of a cool texture. But this one also has stairs, so that's awesome. The chests, it has literally everything the other ones do. Nothing in them. I was hoping to maybe find a little something in there. It looks like we did have some armor. Maybe we went to the nether from this side, so I'm not sure if we should go in there next time, or I don't know. We'll come back to it. Just today, we're just adventuring and seeing what these areas hold. As you can see by this spot, there's another little mine. And I wouldn't say mine, a little cave. And again, we never lit it up. It's not something that we spent any time on, and we're not going to do it now. We're going to revisit it, and we're going to get to the top to see exactly what's going on. Another one here. This one looks a lot bigger, and it looks like there's another mine shaft over there. And this one could be pretty sweet to kind of check out. I'm not sure. So it looks like the first one and the last one seem to be the best ones to build at. So I'm not sure if we'll go consecutive 1, 2, 3, 4, or if we'll skip around as we're building. That's something that we're going to revisit in the future. But as you can see, this one is actually under the water. And this one's really cool. So as we go to the top, we're going to look around to see what type of ocean are we in? What type of floors do we have? There's no coral, so we don't have exotic fish. It's basic seaweed and kelp. We got some gravel down there. And as we go to the top, we look around, and there's no land around here. So we are dead in the ocean. But over there, I think that's a guardian temple. So we're going to swim over here a little bit, and that could be something really awesome. That's a farm that I would end up building because I really like the blue. So the blue blocks that come with the guardians, I'm not entirely sure what they're called, but those blocks that you get from killing the guardians and the scales that you get from them, you can build with them. So I will build a guardian farm eventually. I'm putting my name on it, and it looks pretty sweet. I'm so happy that we found it, and I'm glad that our base is near it, because that means if we build the castle with the village next to it, it's also going to have a guardian farm with it. And that's awesome, because we come here, and maybe this entire castle is made with the guardian blocks. So that's something that we're going to revisit. And we're just going to swim around here a little bit. We don't want to get too close because they are pretty powerful, and we're not really prepared with anything. We don't have any golden apples or carrots or anything like that. We just have steak. So we're not prepared to really do anything. And this is going to be pretty much the end here. We're just going to swim around for a little bit and kind of talk about the last 3 spots. So the first spot had a really cool, waterfalls and little area that we could definitely build on top of them. The second one, it was underwater. There was just a little bit. We had the birch forest there, and then we had the swamp with the toad. This spot is probably my favorite just because of the guardian farm that we could make. I'm not so sure how it's going to be on bedrock. I've never done a guardian farm with bedrock, so it's just something that we'll have to try out. And if it works, it works. And if it don't, it don't. We'll just deal with it. But I am excited that we have it. And we always know where it is. Obviously, it's at the end of our road. So thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video.